right? You've got to attract somebody, you've got to get them interested enough to take an action, and then you've got to be able to, whatever it is, whether it's through, reviews on Amazon or just really making somebody feel comfortable that you're going to be able to solve their problem. You've got to be able to close them. And then once you have them as a customer, the best thing you can do is give them the best experience ever. So they want to be your customer for a really long time.
Hey everyone, it's Jenn Foster here with Elite Expert Insider Podcast. We're really excited today because we're going to be talking about marketing and sales, two of my favorite things. And we're with Austin Laroche today, and he is the CEO of a global full service marketing agency called ATT&CK Interactive. And so we're going to be talking about the marketing to sell framework and B2B growth. And so we're really excited to have Austin here, and his company motto is strength in structure. So welcome, Austin. We're really happy to have you here today.
Thanks so much. I'm really excited to be here, Jen.
Tell us how you got into marketing and a little bit about your background.
Well, I was a creative writing major. So when I came out of college, I had no prospects whatsoever. And I was given the opportunity to help start a nonprofit actually with my family, and definitely realized how hard it was to start something from scratch, but how rewarding it was. Um, and then after that, I went to grad school because I needed to make some connections and figure out how to get another job. And I got a master's degree in communications. And in there, I stumbled into something called a social media internship at the Chicago Tribune. And this was way back in 2008. So a big part of social media was like getting like our stories on the front page of Dig, which was like Reddit before Reddit and not nearly as good as Reddit. And so through this internship, I was able to parlay it into an SEO internship. And then what I refer to myself as a pain in the butt entrepreneur. I decided I've had 2 internships. You know what that means? I can start a business. I'm an expert. And so I started a marketing company. I was living in New Orleans at the time, and it was more social media content driven. And that experience was really great. I mean, I learned a lot of, a lot about how to get clients, how to keep clients happy, how to improve your craft. And I was able to, move my business out here to Los Angeles, where I started working on some projects with ATT&CK Interactive. And before we knew it, it made sense to merge our companies because they were more of a web development company. I was digital marketing. And so when we merged those companies, we were able to create a full service agency. And we were still kind of young, right? In what we were doing. And no, not necessarily green, but we were at that place in entrepreneurship where when people go, who are your target clients? You know deep down that the answer is whoever will pay me.
Yeah.
You don't want it to be that
I've
way.
been
You
there.
want to be able to get the
Yeah.
niche. You want, but you got to earn
Yeah.
that. And so through that, we started getting a lot of B2B clients, a lot of marketing and sales teams. And we recognized that with technology, the way that it was coming up then and it is now, like there was no better time for marketing and sales to be able to integrate together and to be able to thrive in the same sandbox, whereas before they'd always kick sand on each other and blame each other for the one another's shortcomings. So we really got a knack with B2B marketing and sales team to be able to unite them both, through strategy, through implementation, and a lot of technology. And we've been able to continue to grow our company year over year. And yeah, part of that is what you alluded to at the top, the M2S framework, which I think helps simplify things so that marketing and sales can look together and go, oh, wow, that makes a ton of sense. And
Awesome.
let's get after it.
Well, tell us about M2S framework. Like, what does that mean? And how can entrepreneurs apply that to their business?
Yeah, I mean, it's really simple. I try and simplify a lot of things. I was really inspired by EOS, the entrepreneurial operating system, and how they simplify operations. And I was just like, I feel like marketing and sales is not as difficult as everybody makes it out to be. Right. I've worked with branding agencies that want to charge you hundreds of thousands of dollars for pointless exercises, particularly for B2B companies. But what became really important to me was like, how do we shift this notion of like brand marketing to like performance marketing? How do we get sales and marketing teams on the same page? Because I mean, I saw it firsthand. I did this really cool like marketing stint at a trade show for a printing company. We had this like label and this custom beer made for the display, and like nobody in the sales team knew or cared. And it was cool because it was like one of those marketing case studies that you'd show and be like, wow, this is a really neat thing. But then when you recognize that nobody who's actually selling the product cares about what you're doing and there's this massive, misalignment, it's like, well, wait a minute, let's bring everybody on the same page. How do we do that? First, we just have to simply know a couple things. Who are our ICPs, our target personas, or buyer personas, whatever the hell you want to call them? Who are our different customer segments, right? What makes them different? And, you know, and from there, let's recognize how are we going to attract prospects, convert those prospects into opportunities, close those opportunities into customers, and then delight those customers.
Right.
And what we do is we granularly go into each of those buckets and we talk about what we're going to do, what marketing is going to do, what sales is going to do, how those are going to interact together on that journey. Right. And once we give those roles and responsibilities and we create that path, what we realize is we've created a world we want to live in. And there's always going to be an obstacle to get there,
Yeah.
right? We need to implement this technology. We need this resource. We need to build this process and we need to build this content. And so we just we try and create about a 90-day plan to overcome any of those obstacles. And then we're able to just go work that, attract, convert, close the light month over month. We identify KPIs so that we're, making sure that we're hitting our goals. And it really just helps simplify everything. So marketing and sales know what they're doing, who's doing what, why it's important, and can work together, row the boat in the same direction.
I love that. And I think for newbies who don't know what a KPI is, you need to know what a KPI is if you're a business owner. So a key performance indicator, right? And tracking what you're doing. I think in the beginning stages of my, entrepreneur days, I wasn't tracking things. I would just be like, okay, I know I have a bunch of clients and money's coming in, but I wasn't tracking how many, leads I was getting and all the different things where I think having that KPI really helps you be like, okay, I need to send out more emails or I need to talk to more people to get more clients.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I've got a very bad ADHD. And so like my brain doesn't want any bad news.
Right.
Right. So like if I don't have that KPI and I'm like forced to look at it, like I'm not going to go look at it. I don't, if I don't look at my bank account all the time, I'm not going to do it.
Right.
Right. But knowing, there's a difference between like that feeling that you have, right? Where your brain's like, I don't want to see bad news. And then wait a minute. Well, what's going to happen if I see it? I recognize it. And then I'm going to, use this data to push action to make the change that I need so that it's not this low anymore. Right. So yeah, tracking those numbers is really important. Even if sometimes, especially in bad times, it feels hard to do. It's really important. It will motivate you. But more than anything, and going back to the whole performance marketing part, it's going to help you make data-driven decisions.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's a big difference in marketing now versus, let's say, even like 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hey, I've got this awesome idea. Well, great. Well, why don't we take 3 or 4 awesome ideas, A/B test them against each other, and let's see which one our audience likes. And then you're able to use data to be able to say, okay, well, we put 4 different messages out to our different markets. This is the one that people engage with the most. This is where we should lean in, as opposed to just relying on somebody who claimed to be brilliant and just following their idea. No data to back it.
Right. Right. I see that happen a lot in businesses that I work with for sure. So what do you think the unexpected role technology plays in B2B growth?
So I think the cool thing about technology and, even like some simple platforms like HubSpot, for instance, right? Where you can have a CRM, a marketing automation tool, and even host your website. I mean, there's a lot that can be done, but what it really provides is visibility. So if someone's talking to a customer, somebody in the marketing department is talking to a prospect, somebody in the sales department is talking to the prospect, it helps you identify who's doing what content and conversations prospects is engaging in. And, helps you like not make some of the same mistakes, right? Like, before technology made this so easy, I feel like, marketing teams would send out like an e-blast and then sales would go, wait, this guy's he just saw this e-blast and we're promoting this product and it's 10% less than what I've been trying to charge him. Like, what the heck, man? And so, there does get that misalignment when there's not that, transparency and visibility. And so I really feel like what technology provides is just a real open window to everything that's going on so that you can be responsible and personalize that journey for your prospect and customer.
Yeah. I think that's really good too. So how would you say, like, if I wanted to do marketing intentionally, how would you guide me if I wanted to be more intentional with my marketing?
Ooh, I love the word intentional. Purposeful is the synonym I usually go for, but intentional is great too. I think the first thing is just like really understanding what your version of the promised land is. Where do you want to go? What do you want this to be?
Mm.
Right. And then from there, how can we talk about how we're going to be able to help? Right. Because I think that's the end of the day. I think there's this thing with marketing so many years ago. Everybody was, you got to tell your story.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not about telling your story, but how you can intercept your prospect or customer story and help guide them where they want to go.
Mhm.
Because that's ultimately what whether it's a product or service, like, people are seeking change. You're out there and you're the person or product that they believe can deliver that change, whether you're a law firm or a mosquito repellent,
Right.
right? It's just, people are they come to you for change. They want their lives to be better. And so they kind of want to hear more about how you're going to be able to do that and just feel the confidence that, you know, in a future world where you want that change, this is the person or product who's going to help you get there. And so once we kind of understand that, that's when we just kind of really dive into that attract, convert, close the light funnel and say, okay, what do we have to do this stage, to get people to our website? We'll get people on the phone so that they'll even hear or see what we have. Like just give them that chance.
Mhm.
Two, what do we got to do to convert? What kind of social proof do we need to showcase to them? Right. And then once they're talking to us, how do we turn them into a customer? What do we have to do? And it's really different for so many different companies. I mean, going back to the joke about the mosquito repellent, I bought one of those on Amazon a couple weeks
Mhm.
ago, and that like attract, convert, close, delight process happened in like, I don't know, 45 seconds.
Right.
Whereas, a B2B company, typically, the sales cycle is so much longer. It can be, 6 months to even years.
Mhm.
So, but it's just knowing all that is where you're at, right? You've got to attract somebody, you've got to get them interested enough to take an action. And then you've got to be able to, whatever it is, whether it's through, reviews on Amazon or just really making somebody feel comfortable that you're going to be able to solve their problem. You've got to be able to close them. And then once you have them as a customer, the best thing you can do is give them the best experience ever. So they want to be your best friend for a really long time.
Right. And then refer you to have people come back, like keep referring you, right? Because they had such a great experience. I love that. But I think it's really important, like you
Yeah.
said, to start with the end in mind, like having that goal of what you want. We tell our authors when we're publishing books, it's like, what do you want that reader to say when they close the book, right? What's the end goal of when they're done reading the book? What do you want them to say? What do you want them to do? How do you want them to feel? Which is similar to having that end goal in mind, right? And knowing exactly what you want for
Mhm.
you and for your customers, right? So,
Yeah. I talk with my team about that all the time, right? Like all about client experience, exactly how you want people to feel,
mhm.
right? It's how do you want to make them feel? I was giving them this funny example. I was on a cruise last week and I did the last cruise and I hopped on and it was one of those things where like, you're like, wow, we pony this up. This is a big family vacation. And you get on there and every single person you talk to is trying to sell you something more to the point where my kid was at the kids club, had a little bit of a cough. And then they were like, well, we got to get medical clearance if he wants to come back. And we're like, okay, well, we'll do that. We go down a little medical where, hey, we just need clearance. Okay, well, you can schedule a doctor's appointment for $200. And you're like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
like I'm not liking the way I'm feeling right
Yeah.
now. Right.
Upsell, upsell,
And
upsell.
so, right.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I would have paid twice as much and then not like had to pay for a thing on the ship.
Right.
That would have been a much better experience.
Right.
Yeah. But,
Yeah, depending
listen, everybody's
depending on
trying to,
which cruise you go on, it does feel like you're getting upsold, which company. And yeah, like you think, oh wow, I just spent all this money on the drink package. And then you get on board and then they're like, hey, but if you want this fancy cup, you can buy this other drink package. So let me upsell you to this one because you can get a fancy cup. And you're just like, wait, I
oh
just
gosh.
bought, like, you're like, I just got upsold at the counter to the drink package. Now I'm getting upsold to a different one. And then it's just like, Or, oh, we have this club that's really fun, but it's VIP, so you got to pay. You're just like, no, stop. You don't want to
Yeah, I mean,
share
it's
for
just
opportunity.
yeah, and I think that's actually a really, a great example of when I talk about that delight, because I think delight is a really important part.
Mhm.
And, and if you're always looking short term, like how can I make a quick buck as opposed to how can I convert this into a lifelong customer who wants to be with me forever? 'Cause I won't say the cruise line, but I'm not going back with them ever again.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it's like, great. I hope you enjoyed getting a couple extra $100 from me. Cool. Well, last amount of money I'm ever spent.
Hmm.
So, I mean, and that's the thing is I think a lot of times people think a little bit more short term, but if you really think long term, especially in like service based
Hmm.
businesses, you want people to feel super excited and just enjoy the experience, right? Like we wake up every day, 5 days a week, 8 hours a day we're working, we're in meetings, we're talking to people. We want to enjoy that
Yeah.
experience, right? Like, especially the ones where they're paying you.
Right.
It's the least you can do is, show with a smile on your face, a good attitude and, try and energize and, make change for your customers.
Yeah. I like that. I think delight is a good word. I know in the fast food industry, you go to certain restaurants and you're just like, oh, I always feel horrible after I leave there. And then you go to other restaurants and they're just like, pleasure to serve you. So happy and cheery. We have Dutch Bros out here, which is a coffee place, and they're always like super energetic and they compliment your shirt or something. Like it's just like they're trained really well. And I always feel good and I always want to go back there. Right. So it's that delight feeling.
Absolutely. I was always amazed. I grew up in the Atlanta area and there's a gas station chain. I think it's only in like 5 or 6 cities in America called Quick Trip.
Mhm.
And like, it's that same thing. It's like you walk in and it's like a really nice person. They're super chipper. Everything's efficient. It takes 2 seconds to check out. And you're just like, I love Quick Trip. Like
Yeah.
walk over to the drinks. They've got like 7 different types of iced tea. You're like, how fun is this?
Yeah.
Oh, this is great. I
Right.
love these guys. And, and it's chick. We talk about all these different types of businesses.
Yeah.
And I think it all remains of like, how does the business make you feel?
Right.
Right. At
Right.
the end of the day, how does it make you feel as a person?
Yeah.
I think is a through line for anybody, whether you got a product,
Mhm.
you're a service-based business, make customers feel, us. I don't know if there's like one specific way, but satisfied, I
Yeah.
think is probably the closest.
Yeah. I love that. That's great. Well, what's one thing, we'll ask one more question. What's one thing that entrepreneurs should ask about marketing and growth to help them?
I would say if you're going to invest in marketing, right? So let's say you hire a marketing person, you hire a marketing firm, hire a marketing consultant. The first thing that I would say is, okay, how are we going to measure success? And I want to hear a very granular answer with numbers because there's way too many bad actors in the marketing space, mostly PR agencies,
Mhm.
that just all they want to promote is these vanity metrics. Oh, and then we'll get you here. And look at all the impressions. And it's like, no, man, when I'm in marketing or sales support, I need it to be tied back to revenue.
Yeah.
And there's so many ways that we can do that. As in 2024, there's a million ways through technology and transparency. It's really easy to see when marketing is leading to actual business growth. And if, the consultant or person you're looking to hire is afraid of that, I would walk away because it is scary. I tell my team this a lot. Like what we do is hard. Like making things work is one thing. Like making things grow is another. Like that's difficult. And so like, and we accept that challenge because it's so satisfying when you do it, right? When you look back and go, wow, we started working together. And then after we drove all of those leads and then you were able to close them and now you guys are up 20% this year. Like what an awesome collaboration. How neat is that? That we're actually helping people and companies grow, even though we have to recognize this is really hard. And that's why it's scary for a lot of people. So if you're looking to interview somebody, find the people who aren't afraid to be tied to the actual performance.
Yeah. The ROI, what really matters, and the growth. I love that.
Right.
That's great.
Right.
Well, thanks, Austin, for being here. Tell people where they can go to find more about you and to hire your company.
Well, definitely check out our website, www.atakinteractive.com. That's great. I'm Austin Laroche on LinkedIn. Please give me a follow there. And if there's anything that we can do, if you hear us on the show, you want to come to the website and, say, hey, I heard you on Elite Expert Insider. I heard you would give me a potential free marketing audit. I might be able to do that for you. So, but you got to come to the site. You got to let us know that you heard us on Elite Expert Insider, and then we'll take it from there.
Awesome. I love that. A free marketing audit. Take advantage of that for sure. We'll go ahead and put the link up in the show notes and people can click on that link from YouTube or wherever you're listening to your podcast. Thank you, everyone, for listening today. We're really excited. Check out more of our episodes if you haven't heard us before. And if you'd like to publish a book, we publish books and help you write it and publish it and market it. You can find us at eliteonlinepublishing.com. Talk to you soon.
Hey, are you looking to increase your revenue, build credibility, and elevate your brand? This podcast is brought to you by Elite Online Publishing, an innovative publishing and full spectrum marketing company. They will publish and market your book to make it a #1 bestseller. Becoming an author is the best way to market your business. So contact them at eliteonlinepublishing.com today. All of their authors become #1 bestsellers.